So when I was a child, um, my mom always signed up for the blood drive at South Haven. They would have the blood van come, which I still think is vampires, but they would have the blood van come and you would sign up for a time and you would have, the ability to donate blood. I always thought that meant that my mother was going to be like drained completely of her blood as a child. I was very concerned that she was going to die. And so uh, I would go and cross her name out on the blood drive sheet. And then she would show up and be shocked to find out that her name had been crossed out. She thought there were like people in the congregation doing it. So I was causing drama because mom's trying to figure out who would cross my name off of the blood drive, because she would get the first slot. She was so excited. And then she would find out that her name had been crossed out. So she had to go to the back of the line, meaning she got no nap on Sunday. And it wasn't until last week that I told I think I finally
and guess
got
who's
caught.
here?
She's my mom
right here.
and the blood van. We're going to do it live on air. But I think I got caught crossing her name out by somebody, and they took me to her. I finally confessed. I don't remember what it was, but she was so mad because of that. So, Joe, we're going to tell some stories that have happened to us. For those that are listening, I'm Michael Clark. This is Wayne. This is Wayne, also known as the Whiteboard Warrior, because he loves it white and he loves it written down. And this is Joe Mallory with us as well. Joe, you've got some stories for us, and we've got some stories. We'll just kind of round table this out, but go ahead with whatever you've brought, and you can tell one, then we'll tell one, kind of go that way.
Sounds good. Just thinking about, I'm coming up on 10 years of preaching. So, and of course, you see things that way that you wouldn't see any other time. But when I first started to really work in a local work, I was just getting to the building early that Sunday morning and getting everything set up. I think some of the boys were there helping me, that kind of thing. And of course, everybody started coming in. We were getting ready for worship and things, this, that, and the other. And then as we're getting set up, somebody left the door open, and this huge, it looked like a Saint Bernard, comes charging in the building, like running up and down the aisles and in between the pews, which is very interesting because just recently I had prayed that there was a door of opportunity for me to talk to some of my students and their parents that I taught at fifth grade in that same county. Well, little did I know that some of our neighbors, we lived right by the church building. We were in a parsonage. Right behind the church building was a family of one of the students that I taught. And of course, this was his dog. So trailing behind this big Saint Bernard is the father and the son, the one that I taught. So I thought, well, here we go. There's the answer to a prayer. Yeah. But here we are all of us trying to, I don't want to touch this dog, but because I, don't know what's going on, but they finally got him. I said, we're so thankful you're here. Yeah. Come by whenever you have a chance. We'd love to have a chance to visit with you and perhaps, teach you some things that what we're doing here. Of course, they were prominent in one of the denominations there, but it was still an opportunity. I think they were a bit bashful and shamed by what their dog had done. But I thought, man, I've never seen that before in my life. A furry but friendly friend, but not one that we anticipated coming to visit.
We getting to travel over this last year and a half, we've visited congregations, and not every congregation is as formal as especially we are used to in the Bible Belt, we'll say. And so one congregation in particular we visited, was especially we got there we were first on a Wednesday night, and it was even less informal than was Sunday. And not to say worship was out of place or anything like that on Sunday. I'm just saying, just less formal. Let's call it that. But anyway, so we're sitting around and everything, but I'm noticing there's a dog in service, and I just not ever experienced that before. And I know I've heard people debating, can we even bring an animal into all right, I don't know if that's worthy debate or not, but anyway, but I've never really thought about it until I'm sitting in there, and so Wednesday night passes and everything was fine, no big deal. It's just a little lady had just a little dog, and dog didn't make a peep, no big deal. Sunday rolls around and there's probably 3 or 4 times as many people there. And there's, I think, 3 dogs in the service. One of them was a big dog. Okay. But the dog just laid down behind its, owner and, just in the chair that, right beside the chair, just right, no big deal, and I'm just looking around, but I'm waiting for the moment that something's going to go awry, and it never did, but it kept me nervous the whole time. I'm just waiting and thinking and all that. And as dogs do, and as sometimes humans do, we do.
Yeah. Okay.
This animal passed.
Interesting.
Gas.
Oh, I thought you meant passed away.
No, passed gas. And it was so loud, and and everybody's just trying to keep it together. And what happens next? The smell hits, and it is like, oh, and we're all just trying to keep our demeanor about us and everything, but people are starting to, just crack up. People are choking, and it is bad.
Perhaps since it was a public thing.
No, it was not Maddie. We did not take Maddie in there, so it was.
Perhaps since it was a public thing, he or she ought to confess and respond to the invitation.
Right. Come forward or go out the door. Either one will be fine at this point.
I'm gonna read that Facebook post from the other night.
Do
I won't
it,
say
man.
who did it, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I got on Facebook the other night. Since we're talking about dogs, this is a dog themed episode now. I've got 2 that I'll tell about dogs. But I got on Facebook the other day and I saw this post from somebody and it says, "Do we have any vets in?" And they said their area that will come to your house to euthanize a dog. And I thought the wording of that was funny because I knew they meant come to my house to euthanize my dog. My dog needs to be put down. But the way it's worded is, do we have any vet that will just go to your house and kill a random dog just for whatever reason? We're putting down this dog. And I thought that would be a TV show that I would love to see the Dog Whisperer host. That would be amazing. You're sitting at home, nothing's going on. The doorbell rings and it's a crew with a kennel. And they're like, "We need to use your house to put this dog down. We have no reason why, but this is the show." And every time it'll be someone from PETA that they happen to go to. I think that would be amazing. Also, I was traveling somewhere and I'm walking down a hallway and I missed, as I rounded the hallway, this woman with her dog passed into the other hallway and I didn't see. And so I don't know there's a dog on the other side of this hallway. This woman is standing right out to the base of the hall that I'm walking down. I can't see a dog leash or anything. And so she's carrying on a conversation with another woman. And I thought, okay, they're just 2 friends talking. All of a sudden I hear her say, "Hazel, stop licking the floor." And I'm like, is there a woman on the floor right now licking the floor? And I walk by right as she says that and see a dog. And I just couldn't help myself. I said, "I thought you were talking to her." And she thought that was the funniest thing. And she said, "No." And I said, "Well, I was never gladder than to find out that it wasn't just a random person
Hazel,
on the floor licking." Hazel, stop it. We've talked about this. This is ridiculous.
We've all said some things to our children too, that you never would expect, to say. And so, that's not all that far off,
No.
thinking about children.
That's right.
No, it's not. Now, I do think
Don't put that in your mouth.
I do think we should talk about this before I throw it back to you because I want to be able to have you on record for this one.
Oh no.
Camp.
Yes.
Mallory, your son, at camp.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first year, I think, that I had started being more of a director role. He came, he got COVID. He couldn't stay for the whole week. It was the worst thing ever. He was so excited and then he got sick. So the second year we, have him come back and he's actually able to make it the whole week. But I had told the guys, I said, "Look, this is my chair. I've got it sitting here. Don't, put anything in my chair, please. I don't want to accidentally take anybody's stuff. If I come and just grab the chair in the middle of the night, I don't want to just keep stuff out of my camp chair, the one that rocks, that you can take to an outdoor event." I had just left and I get a picture sent to me of Camp putting his suit clothes on my chair. And it wasn't like a full blown suit. It was just like some khaki pants and a dress shirt, I believe. So I stormed right back in. And Camp was so shocked to see me. He was like, and he tried to go over and grab the clothes. And I was like, no. Give me those clothes. So we wet them down and we froze them for 2 full days. And Camp then wore them to bed. And I said, I didn't expect him to have kept them on all night. I just thought he'd wear it till I left. Camp the next day said, it was really cold and nice at first. And then I was just damp the rest of the night. And I said, you wore it all night? But I asked you before I did that. Do you remember what you said?
No.
You said, absolutely. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah. And so we
always gave you full reign control, whatever you needed to do.
The boys turned out fine.
They did.
Same. You know, we won't have Betty May in the apartment probably, but Betty May'd turn out fine too if that ever happened.
That's right.
I'm not really counseling like I used to anymore, which is kind of sad. I've always enjoyed it, but that was a fun week, and we always have fun with Foundations. That's really where I got to know your family.
Yeah.
And so the memories we have from Foundations are great.
The 2 a.m. phone call of,
oh yeah.
Is it okay if Michael shaves my head? Well, probably not.
Yeah, that was the one time I was told no.
It's too late.
Yeah, because we kept telling Brennan that we were going to shave his head. We really weren't going to, especially without permission from the family. But then I thought, what if they told us we could? So I just called. I was like, you have not because you asked not. That's biblical. And so that was the one time Joe was like, I don't think I could let you do that one. And so we ended up not shaving Brennan's head. We told Justin we were going to shave his head first. And Brennan was getting to be too chummy about it. Thought it was fun. That's why we switched to Brennan.
Okay.
And because Brennan was like, yeah, we're going to shave your head. I was like, we'll shave your head too. And he goes, what?
You're next.
But yeah, those are good memories of Foundations and the time y'all were in school together too. But do you have any other stories you want to tell as well?
Yeah, something that I thought was pretty unique that had never happened to me before, but it's kind of been passed around, different places. At Bible camp, I used to be a director for the fall retreat there in Douglasville, Georgia. And so, we enjoyed that so much. For about 15 years, I co-directed that, and really I enjoyed our time with the teenagers. But we had a young lady that wanted to respond after one of the evening lessons. Of course, it was probably 10:30 at night after the last Devo. And so I'm thinking, well, it's October, the pool's already closed. All we have left is right here. There's the lake. And the nickname for the lake is Lake Kind of Look a Muddy, because it was kind of nasty. I mean, real nasty. And so here we are thinking, well, there's water. What hinders her from being baptized right here? So we went down in there. Of course, I had my clothes on and my Crocs. And so we went down, and as soon as I took the first step, my whole leg sunk to all the way up to basically my knees in mud. So she's coming out, and I told her, just be careful. I don't want her to step on any kind of glass or whatever was going to be down there. And so after she was immersed into Christ, here I am trying to get out. My shoe came off inside the mud.
It's still there.
I couldn't find it.
It's still there.
So we always said, a soul for a soul, being able to say. So I thought that was a very unique thing for me, thinking about, what am I going to do now? I lost my favorite pair of shoes,
Yeah. Love it.
Well, you think about that because we went and found that shoe and we have it right now. No, could you imagine
what we have for you is a brand new pair of Crocs?
So it's Lake Kind of Look a Muddy.
Yeah.
And that's just what everyone called it because of how muddy it got.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, there's some great fish in there, but Kate will tell you, it's
that
not.
Sounds like a typical Georgia lake.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I'll do one more animal themed one here because Adam loves this. But we were driving to a gospel meeting I was doing. My son, Adam, by the way, Adam, you might like it. I don't know, but we were driving to a gospel meeting, and I'm sure Adam was getting restless. He was hungry, and so I said, we're going to drive through Murfreesboro. We'll stop there and eat. And so we get to Murfreesboro, and Adam loves Texas Roadhouse. And so he said, can we eat there? And I said, sure. It's a bros trip. You do things on bros trips you don't normally do, just, all the time. And so I said, okay, here we go. We walk in, and the lady said, we're like so full. It's just, it'll be an hour before you can be seated. I thought, well, we're still an hour from where we're going. So if we stay, that's 2 hours of eating and staying before we then drive. That's a 3-hour, commitment basically. So I looked at him. I said, buddy, I don't think we could stay. I said, is there another restaurant you would eat? And he goes, Fazoli's. I said, okay, we'll go to Fazoli's. That's fine. That's kind of a downgrade, but that's fine. We turn to leave and we see a massive rat in the parking lot. Like it looked like Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was huge. And Adam wanted to pick it up. And I was like, no, don't go over there and pick that up. Don't do it. Adam, leave that alone. Well, it was kind of stumbling. It looked drunk. And Adam and I were laughing that it was probably, eating all those rolls from inside somewhere and it was full because it was literally swaying in its steps. To this day, he calls it Texas Rat House because of that.
That's great.
He loves it. He loves Texas Rat House.
Great commercial for them.
That is a great commercial. Now, I will say this, not a sponsor, obviously, but I am a fan of Texas Roadhouse.
Yes.
That particular one, unfortunately, needed to get some things together because yikes. And as we were leaving, another couple was coming in. They saw it and they said, maybe we'll eat somewhere else. I said, that's probably wise. I don't know if they travel in packs, but if they do, there's more than one.
Well, if you went in and told everybody, then that 3-hour wait may have turned into a 10-minute wait.
That's true. I should have
trimmed it down.
I should have gone back out there and just loudly said, by the way, there's a rat outside. I don't know if that's going to affect anything.
Looked like he came from in here. I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
it had too many rolls. Sat at the bar. Something happened. I don't know.
I will say this because this is something. Have you ever gotten the information wrong about someone having passed away that has not? You ever accidentally done that?
Somewhat.
I was asked to do a meeting last year in Kentucky because the gospel meeting speaker that was originally scheduled to be there could not attend. For some reason, what I had heard was that he had died. And so for 2 months, people were asking me, I saw you're going to be in Kentucky doing a meeting. I didn't know you were scheduled to do that. Yeah, well, the guy that was supposed to do it passed away. And we're doing all this. And I'm in 2 straight months of me saying this. So we get to the meeting and I find out, no, he's not dead. And I couldn't remember who all I told. And so I just want to go on record right now and say, I'm sorry. I don't remember his name because he passed away. No, I don't remember his name, but I feel terrible that I did that. But I genuinely believed that he had passed away and I've seen the light.
Having heard this story previously, we have with us today.
I would love it if you walked in. I was like, why'd you say I was dead?
Why you say I'm dead, man?
He's hot mic'd and everything. You missed what I said, though. I said, I've seen the light.
You've seen the light.
He didn't, but I have. So, do you have anything else, Joe, that you want to say?
Well, along those lines, this is a very serious topic. So,
yeah.
And I know that a lot of these may help preachers or other people, ministers. This might help as well. It's because I didn't know what to do in this situation. I was very blessed. Here I am teaching the Sunday morning class. I was not preaching at that point. I had really just understood what I wanted to do based upon this was a class on evangelism. So I was teaching all the different aspects and strategies and what we hope to do and how to desire to teach those. And here I am teaching a class on Sunday morning, and I'm looking out, and I notice probably on the second or third row, Sister Thomas. Man, and of course, her name is not Sister Thomas, but I'm going to call her that.
I was about to say, uh-oh.
Yeah. She, I could kind of, I looked at her, glanced at her somehow, for some reason, her eyes rolled, and she literally passed out and fell sideways. So this is a serious thing. And I was like, oh no, I hope somebody else saw this and I just kind of pointed at her. Fortunately, Brother Smith was right behind her and saw it. And he is an EMT, a fire chief.
Yeah.
And so right then class stopped. We had to figure out, okay, they called 911 and it was not even 3 minutes before they were there to come get her. She was fine afterward. It was just really it was the beginning of an end for her. She passed about 2 or 3 years ago, but this was about 10 or so years ago. But if we're teaching or preaching and we can observe people, what do we do in that situation?
Yeah.
So it had never happened to me. I don't know what I would have done if Brother Smith was not behind her.
Yeah.
And did not see it and, see the signs. You want to make sure you get to someone real quickly. So if anybody's listening to this or watching this, when you're teaching or preaching, just observe and make sure if there's anything you can do. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, the class can wait for a
That's
minute.
right.
Yeah.
Because
you probably lost the class at this point.
I went down at my pew and I just sat there.
Yeah.
And nobody did anything except for get her out. So
Right.
Have y'all experienced anything like that?
Yes, actually. Yeah. So both of the occasions it happened to me were at Somerville, and both of the people that it happened to have, I believe, now have gone on to their reward. One time, Brother Burness Johnson was sitting in the class. He got up to leave after class ended, and he fainted, collapsed. And I didn't know. I was over in the annex because you worked at Somerville while you were in school, and so you know the building. And I walk over, and I happened to walk right down the hallway that he was collapsed in. And I walked in just in time to see one of our EMTs that we had there in the church, congregation, ripping his shirt apart to get the paddles ready, which is not what you anticipate seeing as you're coming back from Bible class. I can't count how many times. No, I can one. How many times that has happened to me. And I remember thinking, oh no. And then I don't know who it was, but I heard a child say, "Is he dead?" And I thought, I really hope not, and they got him back, and he recovered and lived a little bit longer. But he ended up passing away a few years ago now too. But then there was another time where I think Ryan was preaching, and someone didn't just fall out. If I remember correctly, they hit the back of the pew as they were falling down, and it was loud. And I remember Ryan's slow talking sometimes, and he's really methodical in the way he approaches a sermon. And so I didn't anticipate anything by it. He paused for a bit of time, and I thought, oh, he's just letting the point sink in. No, he was pausing to determine, what do I do? And then I'm struggling to remember this one as well, but I think, if I remember correctly, he just went and sat down. Just, it was obvious to everybody else something had happened. And, that whole thing is not something that we really anticipate having to train anybody to handle. But has it happened to you?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen folks, we've had to stop service at different times, for someone to be tended to. Diabetic situation one time, and somebody, was passing out, and had to be tended to, blood pressure shot up on another, and so we've several times paramedics have been called in, and you just stop and handle things. And, the moment they're kind of tended to, you say a prayer. I've never had anybody die, so, but I can only imagine what those situations would call for, a little more time, prayer, focus, things like that, for our brother, sister, those kind of things. I had a situation actually happened to me. I got through preaching one time, and I had been sick, fighting something, but I got up and I preached, and I just remember having a horrific headache through the whole thing, and just almost migraine-like, but pushed on through it, got through it and everything. And, the invitation song was sung, and I walked to the back. And it wasn't a big congregation, wasn't a big building or anything like that. So I walked to the back pew, probably only 15 pews back or at the most. And I get back there, and they're singing the invitation, or actually that was during the invitation, or maybe the closing song. So I walked back to the closing song is what it was. So they're singing, and I went ahead and sat down, and I'd gotten kind of weak feeling and everything. And I was out. I woke up. Didn't wake up dead, but I woke up and I was like, what just happened? And I was slumped over myself and everything, but it was just, I kind of popped to and everything, and the prayer was going on and everything, but I just stayed there sitting because I was expecting, because I was still kind of shaking and everything. And so but I just had gotten weak
Mm.
and literally passed out. And so weird things happen.
Yeah.
You press on. Cindy walked to the back and she got me, and a couple of them got me up or whatever, and we got out of there. We took some medicine, passed out.
Didn't mean to bring such seriousness to the conversation, but
but did that really happen? Right?
Yeah.
Things happen.
yeah,
So,
we need to be
in
ready for
preaching.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There was I think it was 2018 or 19. For whatever reason, I had 2 panic attacks that year. One was at the Memphis lectureship. I'll tell that story sometime, I'm sure, because it had to do with me bringing pizzas for the lectures, and it was not a good thing. I may have even told it on a previous episode of the show, but the other time was I had just finished preaching, and Megan could tell something was kind of off with me. I went to the back and I sat down, and we had a doctor that worshiped with us there at Somerville. He came back and he started to, try to give me a checkup or whatever. It's kind of hard to do that in the church building because they don't really have like a full medical grade kit that a doctor could use to check everything. Right. And so he had the little blood pressure cuff that we have, the portable one. He pressure goes, I don't even know if these things are that accurate or what, And so I'm like, that's comforting.
Not helpful.
And he looks at it and he goes, yeah, your blood pressure is like super high. You probably need to breathe, take your tie off. And I was like, absolutely. No, but I took the tie off and I just had to sit there and breathe for a little bit. But Megan was like, I thought we were going to have to take you to the ER. And the doctor, the next time he goes, you didn't take him to the ER. You probably should have. But that was the last time I ever had one that year. And they were about 2 months apart. So it was kind of strange. But
weird.
Sometimes those things happen. You never know. I don't know if anybody here has ever had to stop. I've never had to, thankfully, but I've heard of some preachers that they have to stop preaching.
Yeah.
So that they can, go to the doctor or whatever. They're getting sick or they don't feel well or they know they're about to faint.
Yeah.
And so they cut the sermon short. I'm sure the people enjoy that, but not them fainting, but the sermon being short.
The only time I've ever had to stop preaching was when I had to stop and look at my children that were misbehaving.
Caden.
I'm not going to name any names.
It was Caden.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
We'll bring him on next.
But
next.
I know when you're preaching and all of a sudden you look over and you say, stop.
Yeah.
And you snap and point, and then everybody's like, wait, what did he just do? And then you just have to keep on. So that's
when you snapped just
hard.
Now, I heard Caden shudder from the other back of the studio.
He just hit the back wall.
Caden's gone. He left. No, it's always a joy to get to laugh. I mean, the Bible talks about there's a time to laugh, and that's why we do this program. Again, for those that are watching, we've had Joe Mallory here. We have Wayne, also known as the governor of easy, because he can slow down a runaway theory with just one word. And I'm Michael Clark. Until next time, we look forward to being with you again. Next Tuesday, we'll be back with Caden, Joe's son, and we'll be continuing our Before the Pulpit and Did That Really Happen arc for this summer. Thanks again to House. Take care, and God bless.